Tight Senate races in several states of both Democrats and Republicans, bringing out some big names.
That's when a Good Samaritan jumped into action and got into this pontoon boat to try to save him.
He was found with a gunshot wound and taken to the hospital after his big rig crashed into two parked cars
at the Bear Fire, burning up the ridgeline behind me. This is a joint effort between CAL FIRE and the Forest Service. You can also see dozers actively cutting line into the ridge.
Well, a developing story out of Stockton. A family is calling for justice.
You saw Laloe walk out, but it's how he entered in handcuffs. Did you know Mrs. Montoya was using a false social security card that was said in the court documents?
Bad news, you're out of excuses to put off your chores, your spring cleaning. We're talking about something as small as the tip of this pen, a BB gun bullet.
Do you think this happened so quickly and has so much attention because these 5 officers are black?
Yeah. They're expendable.
I'm in front of one of those collapses right now that has just been devastating to the community and a business owner. Take a look at Ruth's Dolls and Memories. The roof has caved in, the air conditioning unit just teetering there on the top. And we're going to show you the dramatic moment when it all came crashing down.
You're watching a special edition of ABC 10 News. I'm Devin Trubey. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday evening. Well, we want you to take a look at that rain that came down earlier today. We have our coastal flood advisory here in the Bay Area for us due to our king tides. So that means our high tides are a lot higher. It's going to flood those tide pools.
And to show you how densely compact this snow is, you can't even get all the way down to the bottom of the ground with it.
It's crazy. 5 feet of snow. That means you only see this much of
you?
my
Exactly.
out there.
You're covered.
Late News Tonight starts right now.
Good evening. I'm Devin Trubey. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And a man is in the hospital recovering tonight after being shot by at least one Sacramento police officer. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras spent the evening at the scene and has the latest. Well, tracking some other big stories that we're following. Neighbors are telling ABC 10 that multiple cars had their tires slashed in their North Highlands neighborhood. Now, neighbors say it all happened at some point overnight on Courtright Way. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office said multiple people were affected and they're investigating. Anyone with information is asked to please call the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. Well, take a look at this. Fire crews were battling a scrapyard fire earlier today. This happening at Durham and Butte County on the Orville-Chico Highway. CAL FIRE said it started around noon. There's that air attack there. Now, crews arrived at a 200 by 100 foot pile of scrap metal fully engulfed. Look at that plume of smoke. Officials say 2 truck companies were strategically positioned around that fire to contain it. Well, new upgrades to Central Park in Davis have a special meaning behind them. This morning, the city broke ground on the improvement project, which is going to include a tribute to fallen Davis police officer Natalie Corona. Well, now to your voice, your vote. Both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, along with their running mates, are on that campaign trail, focusing much of their attention on several critical swing states. And ABC 10 is here to make sure that you've got all the information that you need to vote. So today, our voter engagement crew was at the Elk Grove Multicultural Festival. I was there as well. Our goal is to give you nonpartisan election information, collect election-related questions so that we can answer them for you on air and online. You can find all this information at abc10.com/vote.
Bittersweet and historic moments. Only 2 fans rushed the field and some green smoke bombs along with toilet paper were thrown. Fans also broke off the cup holders off the Coliseum seats to take a little piece of history with them. The Athletics taking the field for the last time at the Oakland Coliseum.
Crying thinking about it. I cried once I got off the BART.
Parents partaking in parking lot traditions one more time. For some, it's more than just losing the team, but their connections.
This is where you get together with all your family and friends. Besides, birthdays and funerals, baseball is where it's at.
Fans wrapping themselves in sell t-shirts and flags, using it as an armor as they brace for this emotional day, the 4,493rd final regular season home game. 57 seasons in Oakland, 4 World Series dating back to 1968. The A's best baseball has been played here. The swinging A's in the 70s, powerhouses like Ricky Henderson in the 80s, Moneyball, and now the end of the era. Fans in the stands with black roses saying it feels more like a wake, trying to have a good time and remember their milestones.
For my 80th birthday, the fans gave flag that says right field Mamacita.
I brought my wife here on our first date.
And no heart beats louder, stronger, and will probably break harder.
Let's go, Oakland!
For those then in the bleachers, the most loyal fans with their own drum line and flag flyers. They had the tissues ready.
One of the saddest days of my life. I'm losing what I've been doing since I was a little kid.
At times, you couldn't even go half an inning without "Sell the Team" chants.
Sell the team!
We asked fans, will they come to Sacramento?
For what they're leaving behind here, it's not worth it for us to follow them.
The idea of seeing the A's play anywhere else would just be crushing. Like, it's not, excuse me, I'm sorry.
And for the very last time, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" rang out in the Oakland Coliseum. They played out the fans and the players to the tune of Celebration. The end of all major league sports in Oakland. The Raiders, the Warriors, and now, for the last time, the Oakland Athletics.
1, 2, 3 times you're out at the whole ball game.
After the game, the A's manager came out and thanked everyone. So the very last thing heard in the Coliseum was "Let's go, Oakland." The next time the A's throw out a pitch at a home game, it'll be in West Sacramento at Sutter Health Park. Reporting in Oakland, Devin Trubey, ABC 10.
The San Joaquin River is one of the hardest working rivers in California. A 330-mile highway for endangered fish like trout and salmon that starts in the Sierra and ends in the San Francisco Bay. But in the middle of all its beauty, the river takes an unfortunate turn.
We get probably like 3 to 4 cars in the water every month, but this year it's been significantly more. I would probably say about double.
Just below the surface is an underwater junkyard. In Stockton, along 8 Mile Road, sits dozens of abandoned cars cluttering the bottom of the San Joaquin River. Deputy John Canapo at the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office boating unit recently took us out on the river. He's been patrolling the river for 4 years and showed us where they find the most cars. He says the cars that lay along the riverbed are likely stolen and dumped, or someone missed a turn and accidentally hit the water.
There's no obstacles to have the cars come out, and it's also very dark out here at night. There's not much ambient light. We've had cars right here, but we've also had cars all along the rocks. They're just able to go off the levee.
And he says some of the cars could even belong to missing persons. People like Jacob Van Zandt, who disappeared in February.
It's the first thing you think about when you wake up. It's the last thing you think about before going to bed. When you're eating, you're doing anything, you're wondering.
The 24-year-old was last seen at a Lodi restaurant getting takeout. A ping from his phone led the family to believe he was somewhere near the river along 8 Mile Road. And after 2 months of searching, a volunteer dive team with Adventures with Purpose came in and found his remains in the river, inside his car, 15 feet below the surface.
When the divers came in, and we were shocked to find out that there were 27 other vehicles down there.
27 cars just in that one section of the massive river.
We've been lucky to get our answers because there's people out there who have no idea what happened to their loved ones, and I can't imagine having to live with that every day.
Taking cars out is important for us here at the Sheriff's Office because it could be related to something important like a stolen vehicle or a missing person, and it'd be awesome to be able to bring closure to those families.
But unfortunately, it is not that simple. They rely on Stanislaus County for the dive team and Sacramento County for their underwater camera you see here to check for remains.
Yeah, that's been there a minute.
There's also environmental concerns that car fluids are leaking into the river.
Vehicles go off the Delta levees and side roads probably pretty regularly, and they need to be responded to.
Alan says it can destroy habitats and be a danger to people using the water for recreation. A UC Davis environmental toxicologist agrees.
They can cause serious consequences for fish and other critters. If the concentrations are high enough, they can actually then kill them as well. I would say the short-term effects are probably more of an issue than the long-term effects as they move downstream and away and dilute.
Now it's about waiting for the family of Jacob Van Zandt, waiting for more answers.
Waiting, trying to figure out, it's pretty horrible. I don't wish it on anybody.
The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office waits on other agencies and funding to tackle this giant issue. They'll continue to patrol the San Joaquin River, where the hard work is just beginning.